Voices of the Village is brought to you by the Greg Olson Local History Room, a treasure chest of Ridgefield Park history.
My name is Melissa Murray Cavins. I am currently the principal at Ridgefield Park Junior Senior High School. Prior to that, I was a teacher and supervisor at Ridgefield Park Junior Senior High School.
How long have you resided in Ridgefield Park?
I have lived in Ridgefield Park my whole life, 46 years. I grew up in this town and I left for college, but I returned and here I still am.
Do you know when your ancestors may have arrived?
Yes. My parents moved here in 1978 from New Milford, and I've lived here my entire life because it was before I was born.
Did you attend any of the local schools, and what is your fondest memory?
Yes, I attended, starting with the Ridgefield Park Co-op nursery school, which is still there. I attended that for, I think, 2 years. And then I attended Roosevelt School from kindergarten through 6th grade. And then I attended Ridgefield Park Junior Senior High School from 7th grade until I graduated in 1997.
Do you have any interesting stories about your teachers, classmate activities, or sports?
I have many fond memories of growing up in Ridgefield Park. One of the most unique ones is when I was in high school during the 1995 and 1996 fall seasons. Our football team had a wonderful 2 seasons, undefeated, and as some people may, feel that when football teams are doing well, when sports are doing well, the morale is very high in a school. So I was a cheerleader for the teams at the time, and it was very exciting to be part of that. But I think my fondest memory was the opportunity to play, the players played at Giant Stadium, and we got to cheer at Giant Stadium and perform at halftime in the middle of Giant Stadium. I'll never forget it.
What is your favorite thing about living in the village?
My favorite thing about living here is knowing that we're part of something bigger and a long storied tradition of a very historical town. I think there's a lot that many people don't know about Ridgefield Park, and there's still things I'm learning to this day. This town has been around for many, many generations, and there's a lot to be learned and a lot to be appreciated. We have beautiful architecture, we have beautiful homes, we have a long history of education, pride in education, our athletic history, and the camaraderie of the town. It's a small town community, and we joke sometimes that if you sneeze, somebody across the town will say bless you. But it's true, and that's what I love about this town is, yes, it's true, everybody knows everybody, but that can be a blessing.
How would you describe Ridgefield Park to an outsider?
I would describe Ridgefield Park as a small town, suburban in New Jersey, that has a feeling of it, that there's almost a cloud of nostalgia in a positive way that looms over Ridgefield Park, where, we're modern, we're moving forward in all aspects, but there's a sensibility of history here that I think that whether you're looking for it or not, it's hard to not notice when you look at our main street and you look at our parks and you look at the homes, especially Grand Avenue, Euclid Avenue. There's so much beauty and majesty, but you can see the transformation of history here.
How has the village changed over the years?
That's a tough question. I would say definitely the stores on Main Street have changed since my childhood, but it's happened so slowly and over time that there's not one resounding change that I've noticed because I have lived here my whole life. There's so many parts of it that do feel the same to me as growing up, and then there are places from my youth that when I look at them now, they seem so much smaller than I remember them, but I think that's just the perspective of childhood.
Is there anyone from Ridgefield Park that has influenced you? If so, who and why?
Well, that's a great question. So obviously, Mayor Fosdick was very influential to everybody here, and I have many memories of Mayor Fosdick and hearing him speak at events. And he was such a formidable speaker, but his love for Ridgefield Park was so evident. And he's actually was a neighbor of mine as well. We lived near each other, but just such a kind man, so knowledgeable, but just such a wonderful leader in the community, and you knew that he was all in for Ridgefield Park.
If you have one story to tell that captures the essence of Ridgefield Park, what is it?
Well, I think a lot can be summarized in our annual tradition, the 4th of July parades. And in thinking before I was coming here today about what that means to me. So going backwards in time, now that I work for the Board of Education, I do march with the Board of Education in the parade, and I did so as a supervisor as well. But then I was thinking, well, you know, I did it as a child too. So I actually calculated that I've walked in the 4th of July parade 17 times. And I think that's pretty special.
Ridgefield Park is well known for its 4th of July celebrations. Have you ever participated in the activities? And you said 17 times. Did you go to the fireworks? What else can you remember about the 4th that was special to your family?
Definitely the fireworks. That's a big tradition, especially as a child, having those memories of being down in Veterans Park and, you know, watching the booms and being with friends and family. And as you get older, that sense of independence when you get to go with your friends instead of with your family. It's a very traditional part of my childhood that I appreciate, and I'm really glad that the fireworks are back so more generations can enjoy them together.
Are there any other local tradition or events in the village that you participated in, you remember, that you'd like to speak about?
So every year my husband and I attend the Memorial Day services on Euclid Avenue. It's important to us. My husband is a veteran as well. He is not a Ridgefield Park native, but he's a resident now for the past 18 years. So I would say he's a villager now too. But we do attend every year because it's important, and we really appreciate that our town continues the tradition of honoring our veterans.
Are you currently involved in any RP programs?
No, I'm not. I'm not involved in any local organizations because my work as principal is my number one most important thing to me, and my students.
Now, I understand you brought some things to show or display. Would you like to talk about those?
I would love to. Thank you. So the first thing I brought is this is a varsity letter. This is from the 1920s. I want to say it was from 1923. We had in our archives down at the high school a scrapbook that somebody had made at some point and donated to the high school when cleaning out a loved one's belongings. So it was really interesting because when you opened the first page of this leather-bound scrapbook, it had this varsity letter. So part of what we've been doing in our conference room at the high school is kind of replicating what you have here with our history. You know, we want people to walk in and see our history, and we want our students to know that we've been around a very long time and they're part of a long history as well. So finding a varsity letter, and it's, you know, or it's an original varsity letter, it's very meaningful because this is just, it's very symbolic, and it's currently our district's logo as well. Officially with our rebranding is the RP, the intertwined RP, and the red and the white. It's classic. And somebody earned this at one point. This was an athlete that earned this, and it meant something to them. It was placed in a scrapbook, and it was preserved with love, and it was passed on to us. So this is a very special piece of history that I brought down. And then the second thing that I brought, I actually have two items, but these are two programs from our 4th of July parade. So the first one, and these are special to me in particular. I can't believe I still have them, so thank you, Mom, for keeping them. The first one is from 1987, and the reason why this one still exists is because in 1987, I was a second grade student, and I was on the honor float for Roosevelt School. So I still have this, and as I look through, I glanced through it today, there's names that I still know today, and names of people that I work with and connect with, and again, it's all the connections of Ridgefield Park over the years that are very special. So that's the 1987. And then I also have 1991, and this one was very special because this was the year I was in 6th grade and I won the cover contest. So this is my cover. And I can actually tell you, I actually remember designing this. So if you remember 1991, our country was in the middle of the Gulf War. And at the time, my brother-in-law, Brent, was in the Air Force, and he was deployed to Operation Desert Storm. So it was a very patriotic tribute to my brother-in-law, because at the time, tying yellow ribbons around trees and putting on homes was very common. So I designed this, and I remember paying particular attention to make sure that the stars were all on the correct side in proportion to the stripes. So this is a little piece of Ridgefield Park history that meant something to me. It still means something to me today, and I'm so glad that these contests and traditions live on.
In just one word, what does Ridgefield Park mean to you?
Ridgefield Park means home. It's the home I've known my entire life. Growing up and going away to college, like many of my peers, I'm going to leave and never come back. I'm going to move somewhere else. And along my adult life, I did have opportunities to perhaps relocate and live other places out of state, travel a bit. I did get to travel somewhat, but Ridgefield Park has been and always will be home for me. My mother still lives here. And as I said, I still live here too. And, my work here in Ridgefield Park means more to me than just being principal and just having a job. It's giving back to the community that raised me.
Thank you, Melissa Cavins, for being our first guest on the Voices of the Village.